The coffee guy, the guy, like the guy. You're the Defiant Bean guy.
The Defiant Bean, yeah.
Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Nice to be here.
Like the best cup of coffee ever. I'm going to take a sip of my best cup of coffee ever. All right, so let's talk coffee.
Let's.
4 generations, Glenwood Springs guy.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you 4 generations, Glenwood Springs?
Yeah, if you count my nephew.
Okay, so yes, I do.
Niece. Yeah.
4 generations.
They make 4. Yeah.
How did you start roasting coffee?
My brother stumbled upon it. He's one of the partners with in the business, and he was given some green beans samples and roasted them on a skillet at home, and
Like a plain old everyday skillet?
just a skillet right on the stove, and called me up, says, "Guess what I just did?" I said, "What'd you do?" I said, I just roasted coffee. It's like, no way. It's not an ancient Chinese secret or something like that. And from there, we started home roasting and did that for about 3 years before we decided to get everybody access to fresh coffee.
So what were you doing beforehand when he called you? You were like
Carpentry.
you were doing carpentry and
Yeah.
climbing mountains.
Did a lot of climbing, yeah. Climbing, skiing,
riding bikes and stuff like that.
yeah, making ends meet.
So you knew the point of the story is like you knew nothing about coffee.
No.
So
I mean, I knew I liked coffee. I've been a coffee addict since I was in junior high.
Really? Junior high?
Yeah. 14 maybe, started drinking coffee.
Your
pretty
parents let
regular.
you drink coffee in junior high?
I guess so. I'd go into 7-Eleven and get coffee on my own.
So we're going to get back to that because your dad actually roasts. He helps. He's an ophthalmologist.
He's a big optometrist.
Optometrist,
Yeah,
who roasts
he's a
the beans.
huge help though. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about the journey. So what happened? So your brother calls you, you roast him on thing, and then how does this? What do you do next?
We just got curious about it. He gave me some of the beans, and I did the same thing right on my wood stove with a cast iron skillet and smoked up the house. And the next morning, we drank the coffee. It's like, wow, this is great coffee. And we couldn't attribute it to anything other than the fact that we were given some good quality beans, but it was also the fact that it was so fresh.
Where were the beans from?
Oh, that first batch, I can't even remember where they were from. Yeah, we had a couple different origins we were working with, and then the samples. And so then we started exploring coffees as home roasters. We would use, there's a website called Sweet Maria's that is kind of caters to home roasters. And there you can buy small quantities of green beans. And so from that point on, we just started exploring on our own, roasting at home.
And are green beans fresh beans? Is it like the blood, like when our blood is blue and then?
Well, the green beans are, before they are roasted, they are quite green in color. Depending on the bean, there's a lot of variety within the green beans, depending on the origin. But yeah, they by and large are green in color. And so there's 2 coffee beans in the coffee cherry. So that's the fruit of the coffee plant. And within each cherry, you'll have two beans. And so when the cherries are picked ripe, and then the processing takes place, and you're left with these green beans. And so yeah, when I say green beans, we're ordering raw coffee and roasting it ourselves.
So is it? You said the only thing you can attribute it to also was that it was fresh. So it's not just the bean; it's the roasting process.
Yeah, we were drinking fresh coffee, and that we were drinking it very soon after it was roasted. So fresh in the roasted respect.
So as a roaster, because your shop, your roasting, what would you call it? Roastery?
Yeah, roastery.
Really?
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
our facility.
Your facility. It's you and your dad.
Yeah, it doesn't take up much. Yeah, it's 1,000 square feet.
So how do you keep it fresh? What do you do? How do you get the beans? Where do you go? What do you do? Because I mean, these beans are extraordinary.
Yeah, and the key to keeping them fresh is just to drink them soon after they're roasted. Colorado is a great climate for storing the green coffee beans. Very dry, not humid at all. And so when we order the green coffee, it can sit around for quite a while. It's after the roasting is when the staling process begins. So ideally, we'll have people drinking the coffee within 2 weeks of the day it was roasted. That's a great window for getting the coffee while it's still fresh.
Oh.
And from there on out, it just gets older and older and older. So
and just a quick side note, I had actually some Defiant Bean espresso that I got right fresh from you, right out of the being roasted. in the freezer, and someone said, no, don't put it in the freezer. Is that true or not true?
True. True.
Don't put it in the freezer.
Well, yeah, ideally you consume a bag like this within a couple weeks, and there's no need for it to go in the freezer.
Right.
If you had some coffee that you were sitting on and you were leaving for a month.
That's what happened, because I would not have.
Yeah, if you have a bag of coffee and you're going to be going away, then it's okay to freeze it and then use it when you get back. That's a good storage method if you're going to be storing it for a month or more. You don't want it to be in and out of the freezer, in and out of the freezer, never in the refrigerator. Coffee's really good at absorbing odors and flavors.
Oh, okay,
and
that's
so the
good to know.
refrigerator is the worst place
It's
for
the
it.
refrigerator.
Yeah,
and is it good to store it in a bag, or is it good to put it in
just
a canister?
Either way, like the airtight canister is a good way to. If you can store it in a sealed environment, the beans off-gas carbon dioxide, and so that carbon dioxide environment is a good storage environment.
Okay.
The oxygen is what starts the staling of the beans, so keeping them away from oxygen and in their own little environment is a good place for them.
So where are some of your favorite beans from? Because you go and you get where are your...
What origins? Well, there's the major coffee growing regions of the world are Indonesia, Africa, Central and South America. And each of those regions has distinct characteristics. The African coffees are pretty wild coffees, often considered. It's the homeland of coffee is Africa, obviously. Yemen and Ethiopia is where coffee originated. And so some of those heirloom varieties from those areas are pretty special coffees. You'll get great berry flavors, you'll get citrus. African coffees are definitely a favorite of mine.
It's like wine almost.
It's completely like wine. If you go to Rwanda and Kenya, the coffees from there do have wine characteristics.
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like,
Yeah.
chocolatey and that. So do you travel to get your beans?
Well, not yet. That is a big part of being a coffee roaster is travel to origin, they call it. You'll go and visit the farms where your beans are coming from and develop those relationships. Someday I would like to start doing that. But we rely heavily on importers to source the quality beans that we bring in.
And is that like fair trade? These are organic. Is that different than, is organic different than fair trade? How does that?
Yeah, we have decided to work with only organic coffees. The fair trade is, the organic is how the beans are raised and processed, by organic practices, just like any organic practice out there. The fair trade element has more to do with guaranteeing a price for the people growing the coffee, so they're not being taken advantage of.
Right.
Right now, we're in a very interesting time with coffee in that it's bringing in record prices, and when coffee prices are high, the certifications like organic and fair trade begin to be devalued, because with prices already so high, people are getting a fair price for their coffee, and there's no incentive to pay extra for those certifications when they're already making good money with the market price so high. And so high coffee prices make it challenging it can devalue, it can put a dent in the quality of the beans, because even bad quality beans are going for a high price. So it makes it hard you have to work harder to source quality coffee when the prices are high.
And you said you have a dealer?
I use 3 different dealers. An importer. An importer. And so the importers work on a scale such that small roasters like us can have access to quality coffees from all these growing regions. So I'm working with 3 different importers right now, and depending on the price or depending on their selection, I'll choose coffees from one or the other, or all 3.
And then they come to your 1,000-foot square roastery.
To our roastery,
and then you roast them by hand.
Well, we use a roaster.
Well, no, I know, but
Yeah.
it's not like there's a machine. But when I was there, your dad was literally there roasting the beans.
Yeah, we load the roaster, do about 4 pounds at a time.
And he was stirring them, and he was just there. So you tend to it, and you love these beans. Do you think that affects the taste of the coffee, the love that you put into it?
Yeah, and the batch sizes that we're roasting, they're all quite small, and so because of the scale, we have to pay attention. And so I think that on the small scale, they are given more attention. There's roasters that are 100 times the size of our roaster that are
Right.
built on the same principles.
Right.
And a good roaster could probably give you the exact same quality out of that roaster.
Right.
But yeah, paying attention to what's going on and consistency, batch consistency, all those little things add up to, and the freshness.
And you ride your bike to deliver it to people.
On good days.
In the valley, if you want to get, if you, you can order and home deliver. You do home delivery.
We do home delivery, yeah.
Home delivery. And you have a website, Defiant Bean,
Defiantbean.com?
defiantbean.com.
Yeah, order on the website, get it at Bonfire.
Seriously, everybody, I was just saying, the Mike, who's shooting this right now, he doesn't even drink coffee, and he had a sip, and he was like, this stuff is good. People just sit around the coffee shop like, this is really freaking good coffee. So thank you so much for